What's up, everybody? So a new interview just dropped on Famitsu. It is in Japanese, but luckily we have it translated. So I'll be reading it out and then giving my thoughts and opinions at the end. Here it goes. We interviewed Ogura about some points we were wondering about after watching the gameplay video, so we recommend that you check that out beforehand. There were of course more things that caught our attention, but since those details look to be coming out later on, let's wait for additional news. Question: so your presentation was a limited one aimed at non-Japanese media, but were you able to get a sense of hype or excitement there? Ogura said, "We were somewhat worried since that would have been the first time we've ever shown the actual game, but many of the media people were kind enough to listen to the game's content with intent and were very much appreciative at the fact that they were excited about it." Question: in the presentation, you mentioned that you could boost on the ground and that you can even fly by boosting more. While I'm sure this depends on your assembly or build, how much of a boost gauge would you have in AC6 generally speaking? Ogura responds, "This is one of the elements inherent to the Armored Core series, in that the player's AC performance changes as various components mesh together, including the generator, providing the energy, the thrust power of the boosters, the weight of the AC, etc. Thus, how much you can boost will differ greatly according to the build. For example, a lighter build can use a lower EN consumption booster to let them hang in the air for a long time. On the flip side, the AC's health and the maximum amount of weight carried will be lower, so you may want to keep an eye on that balance while trying out different builds according to your playstyle or situation." Question: the megastructure has a massive interior, and it looked like you could go anywhere. While I'm sure some places are blocked off, in general, would you be able to go into any of the buildings or objects you can see? Ogura replied, "Since Armored Core 6 is a reboot of the Armored Core series, we have opted to stick with the traditional mission-based system. Unlike Elden Ring, there are no open field levels, so you won't be able to access everything, but we have prepared fields where you can utilize the mech's dynamic movement." Question: the section below the megastructure looks like what you would call pits in games. What would happen if you fell through them? Ogura says, "If you fall, you'll be exiting the mission area. You can restart from a location immediately before falling with a reduced health." Question: are the scans performed with a single button rather than using a kind of mode change? Also, will scans differ based on the head parts? Ogura said yes. The scans won't be a mode change like we had in the Armored Core 5 series, and will let you do it with a single button. Also, different head parts will allow you to scan at different ranges. You can use them whenever you want aside from its cooldown, with no limits to the number of times you can use them. Question: we saw some parameters for the parts during the assembly scene, but will we be seeing a heat management system in 6 like we did in Armored Core Nexus? Ogura said, "No, there won't be a heat management system like the one we had in Nexus. The parameters names we showed in the scene during the hands-off demo are still in development, and we're currently in the process of making adjustments to make them more intuitive." Question: there was a moment where you aimed a rifle-like weapon and fired. Was this the button-holding charging shot? Ogura said, "Yes, it's a weapon category called the linear rifle, where you can hold down the button to charge, and by doing so increase the electromagnetic acceleration of the projectile. We've prepared a large number of weapons where by charging you can increase their attack and shock, thereby stranging their performance in action, so it would be great if you could test them out." So there's a note here that says that shock is one of the core system of Armored Core 6. By repeatedly hitting the enemy, their shock level accumulates. Once this value reaches a certain threshold, their attitude control system temporarily shuts down. This is referred to as stagger, and any damages received while in this state will be a direct hit, causing massive damage. Question: in the gameplay demo, you kicked and fired all while there was something like energy charge at the tip of the linear rifle. It looked like you could perform a combo like charging while kicking, then firing. Does this mean that the player can create a variety of combos at a whim? And Ogura said, in the gameplay demo, we rushed the enemy with an assault boost and kicked them, then performed a charge attack with the linear rifle in our right hand. You can combine, mix, and match different attacks like you saw there, so I recommend having fun and try to create your own combo patterns. Question: the blade attacks look like you were switching things up with a triple slashes and a power slash. Were those charged attacks as well? Ogura said, yes, they were. You can think about how and in what situation you would use those weapons with multiple attack patterns, add them into your own playstyle, and create your own original combo. Question: with the more definitive gameplay video out and about, there now appears to be even more hype with players making all kinds of theories. Do you have any messages you would like to send with regards to their hype? And Ogura said, thank you for watching our gameplay video. In it, we showed a combo attack that started off with a kick, then a linear rifle charge attack, a series of blade attack, a full volley of plasma missile, then a blade slash attack. By utilizing the 4 weapons on both hands and shoulders, you will be able to make combos that are even more complex than what we showed today. I think that you will be able to fight the way you want it, and even more so in 6. I would love to see you discover your own winning method in aggressive and brutal combat by using the variety in your builds, and think about with what AC, in what way, with which weapon, and what kind of attacks you would win with. So let's unpack that information. The first point that I think is really interesting is when the interviewer asked about the mission layout. And no, it's not an open world like those stupid Game Informer journalists thought it was. There isn't going to be a bunch of little hidden details and lore written somewhere. It's an action game where you're supposed to go from point A to point B, so I wouldn't spend that much time exploring every nooks and crannies. I'm sure From Software will have some secrets, but at its core, it's very much a linear based mission where you will go from objective to complete the mission. Now, the other thing that's really interesting is that they mentioned that having different headpieces would change the range of your radar. And I find that really interesting because obviously we know that if you change the legs, your gameplay will change. If you change the weapons, you'll have obviously a different experience. But now we learned that even the head has a really big impact. So I find it really cool that From Software made it that every single piece has a huge importance in your build. Now, when they talked about the combo, I thought that was the best part of the interview. It was really cool that he explained how you could chain multiple combos using your 4 weapons, and I think that the creativity here is going to be unmatched to other Armored Core games, because obviously we're going with a much more fluent playstyle. There is a hard lock on, as many Armored Core veteran players complain, but that will allow for more elaborate combos. And I'm sure the moveset of the enemies will be expanded as well, and they might have elaborate combos of their own. So that's going to be very interesting. I am really hyped for this game. Like I've told you guys before, I've never played an Armored Core game before. This is going to be my first one, but I do really like the mech genre, and From Software has never disappointed me. So I've been a fan since Dark Souls 2, and it's been banger after banger after banger, and I'm sure this will be the case as well. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.